Program on the radio all over the country and on the Fox Business Network. Please welcome from the great state of Utah, Senator Orrin Hatch. Good morning, Senator Hatch.
Well, good morning. How are you, Don?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great.
The Lord works in strange and wondrous ways, Senator.
That's true.
Here you have written you're a pretty good songwriter, actually.
Well, that's the first time you've ever admitted that. I've sent you some before. You never play them.
You and Steve Warner and some of those guys have written some decent songs. And you've written a lot of Christian songs.
Yeah.
And here you write a song about Hanukkah, the 8 days of Hanukkah, and it becomes a hit record. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's a little bit strange, isn't it? I sure enjoyed doing it, though.
How'd this come about?
Well, you know, one of the writers, Jeff Goldberg of Atlantic Monthly, he called me. He came in the office one day back in 1999, and he wanted to hear some of my music, so I played some. He said, "Well, why don't you write a Hanukkah song?" He said, "We don't have a good Hanukkah song. They have Adam Sandler, but it's that was a humorous song." And
yeah.
I said I would, and then kind of put it in abeyance until this last year, 10 years later. And I saw a blog where he said, I asked Hatch to write a Hanukkah song. He hadn't done it yet. And I thought, well, I will. So I did it, and I sent it to him, and he was really thrilled. Then I got Madeline Stone, who's a great young Jewish woman who writes wonderful music, and asked her if she would help me with it, and she did, and we had a terrific time.
So you wrote the words, she wrote the music?
Well, we work on it together.
Oh, okay.
And I wrote the words to begin with, and then we work on the music as well.
Because a little bit of it sounded just vaguely similar to the Beatles' 8 Days a Week, but
well, I wish I was as good as the Beatles, but it's a good song. Everywhere I go, people stop me and say, "Gee, I love your song."
Excuse me, Senator. Why would you even suggest such a thing?
What?
To this elegant man, Orrin Hatch, that he would rip off the Beatles?
I didn't say.
Well, that's of course you did.
I didn't.
That's the implication.
Wasn't suggesting that Senator Orrin Hatch stole a melody line from the Beatles.
Why would you bring it up then?
I don't know, just to cause trouble.
I'm sorry, Senator.
Well, that causes trouble, but if I could do that, I think I would do it.
No, and here it is. It's on the list of Amazon's most downloaded MP3s. It's stuck right between Lady Gaga and the Black Eyed Peas. Which
what a privilege for me.
Yeah, pretty good deal, huh? So, time for Senator Orrin Hatch here in the Amherst Morning Program. We'll play. We've been playing it anyway. Try to play most of it. The 8 days of Hanukkah coming up. President's going to meet with all the Democrats today, so what are you guys going to do while he's over there? Well, they're over there.
Well, we're going to meet here at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we're already up and running and ready to take this on because, my gosh, this health care bill, it's nearly the same length as Stephen King's new novel. Yeah, it's just as scary, by the way. And
is that called Under the Dome or something? Or?
Oh, it's awful. I'll tell you, you ought to see it. But it's it's just one of those very, very difficult things. We're talking about a national debt that's going to double in the next 5 years, triple in the next 10 years. Our unemployment's at 10%. The underemployment, which is conveniently ignored, is at 17.5%. Foreign nations and private corporations own almost 45% of our entire debt, giving them untold influence in defining what America looks like tomorrow. And what's the Democratic majority doing? Well, they're on a historic spending spree, and part of it is this health care bill that is 1/6 of the American economy. It's unbelievable.
Is that one aspect of it is lowering the coverage age to 55? Is that right?
Yeah, that's what they want to do. Of course, the whole purpose, I said at the beginning of the year, early in this battle, that what they're going to do is they're going to try and push as many people into Medicare and Medicaid as they can so they can get faster to a single-payer system, or in other words, socialized medicine. If you stop and think about it, if we go that route, it's going to be a doggone mess. But medical costs are soaring. The estimates range from $1 trillion to $6.25 trillion over the next few years. Taxes are going to go up. There are 13 tax hikes in this bill. The bureaucracy is going to explode because there are 108 new bureaucracies created by this bill. And, of course, if you look at socialized medicine, I think there was a 2008 study by the British medical journal Lancet. It shows that government-run healthcare systems in Germany, France, Britain, and Canada have higher rates of death from colon cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer than the United States, and it's due largely to substandard government care. There are 800,000 people waiting in Canada for surgery and other treatments, 200,000 in Britain, and thousands die each year from the lack of care. And we're going to go to that kind of a system, and that's what they're trying to do. Move people into Medicaid, Medicare, and you'll get to a single-payer system quicker.
So what you're telling me is you don't think it's an act of compassion on the part of the Democrats to try to insure more people?
Oh, no. What they're trying to do is jam in as much spending as they possibly can before the 2010 elections. But they're also what they're doing is they're building a Democrat majority. You know, they're on a historic spending spree that basically will create a majority, a natural constituency for Democrats. How do they do that? Well, just think about it. The bottom 50% of all wages in this country pay about 3% of the total income taxes. The bottom 40% get money from the federal government. They want to move that to 60%, which is a natural constituency for the Democrats, because people think that everything they are ever hope to be comes from the almighty Democratic Party, and that's what they're about. But the American people have caught on to it. They're really getting upset about it, and I can see why.
I guess they must hate Lieberman, huh? All the Democrats.
Well, why? The guy is a straight shooter. You know, he's liberal. I mean, Joe's one of the finest people here. But, you know, unless they get in lockstep with the rest of them, they're dumping all over him. Well, they've been dumping on Joe Lieberman since the last election.
No.
And I think, this is a guy that kind of marches to his own drumbeat. I respect him. I like him very much.
I like him, too. I just making an observation, trying to cause trouble.
He's a lot like you. He goes his own way, you know. I mean, I kind of like that.
Have you played the 8 Days of Hanukkah for him?
Oh, he loves it.
I bet he does. Yeah.
He caught me in the subway and said, "My gosh, that's a great song." He said, "I really enjoyed it." He said, "You're doing well." Suddenly, people have recognized what I've done for a long time, and I write good stuff.
Yes, you do. So, and this is just another example of that. But even if you didn't have any help from the Beatles, so.
Well, I got to write one for you. I got to write one for you. It's going to have to be a little craggy, and
Talking with Orrin Hatch here at the Average Morning Program, 16 till the hour. President gave himself a B+. What do you give him?
Well, I like him a lot.
Yeah, I do too. Actually.
He talks liberal. He talks moderate conservative, but everything he does is liberal, and he's very likable. He's very, he's a very good speaker. He's a bright guy, and I have a lot of respect for him. But almost everything they're doing is wrong, and you know why? Almost everybody in the White House is either an academic or a bureaucrat. You don't see any practical people there.
So your grade would be?
My grade, yeah, you asked me my grade. Well, I'm not for grading presidents, but I think he's probably in the middle, about a C. I think B+ is pretty high.
Yeah.
Under the circumstances.
Yeah, just trying to get you on record.
But a C's good for your first year. Some of these presidents had a real rough time the first year, and so was he. And part of it is the mess up here in Congress. There's an arrogance of power with the Democrats. They got 60 votes in the Senate. They think they can do anything they want. They can do anything they want in the House. It's the Senate where you got to be deliberative and where they got to convince people. But I think what they're going to do, I think they're going to push towards abusing the reconciliation process and try and ram something through by a 51-vote margin. And in the end, if they do that, it will set this country back procedurally for a long time.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, whatever.
Same to you. Happy Hanukkah to you, and Merry Christmas to you and your family, and that fine son of yours and others. I don't know what I mean by others, but you never know in this day and age.
I know others at my house. Thank you very much, Senator Hatch.
One thing, I want to get.
But you're a Mormon. There could be some others at your house. I guess that's the old days.
No, you'd be nice. I descend from those lines. I want you to know.
Thank you, Senator Hatch.
You hang in there. It's always nice to be with you.
Senator Orrin Hatch here in the Average Morning Program. The 8 Days of Hanukkah.